I'm Liz Wiltsey, and I've created a course called A Field Guide to Becoming Sustainably Human at Work. So the first question I get is, what does sustainably human at work mean? It's a good question. So here's what I mean by it. I mean that at the end of the workday, you don't feel like you got run over by a truck. That when you're at work, you feel like you have relationships that make your life better, because we've all been in a workplace situation where the relationships made our whole lives worse. If you haven't been in that situation, then brilliant. That's great if you haven't, but it's a pretty common one. Those are two pieces to being sustainably human. Another piece is around actually bringing who you are in the brilliance of your difference to work with you. Because so many of us are told we have to fit into a teeny tiny little box, and that we have to be exactly what everyone has always expected, and that that's the only way to be or to succeed at work. And I want to push back on that really, really hard. So this is a part of it. How do you figure out the ways to bring your whole self to work and thrive? I'll tell you a little bit about what this is not. This is not how do you be more productive so that you can be exploited by someone else better. You can find that in lots of places. Feel free. That's not what this is. The idea of this is to say, how can I be more me, more sustainable, and also do my job at the same time? Because we still have jobs to do, most of us. Even if we run our own businesses, even if we're doing unpaid labor somewhere, if we're organizing somewhere, we're often still kind of beholden to some of the same stuff. So it's not about how to be more productive. It's about how to actually be sustainable, which is have something left at the end of the day. I believe there's 3 pieces to that. Naming your needs, becoming an accountable human, and giving and receiving generative feedback. And I'll go into what all of that means. But those are the 3 that I believe really contribute to being sustainably human at work. So I have watched, as I've hosted programs and communities, the power of naming your needs in a group and recognizing that we don't have to have every answer all by ourselves. There's plenty of research that suggests that that's way better when people work together and work across difference. And yet, often, because of various interlocking systems of oppression, we're taught that we have to be the only person, that in the individual is how it works, when really collectively we can get our needs met, and we can have more fun, we can leave at the end of the day with energy, and it doesn't have to be the way that it is now. I realize we are sitting in a 2021 pandemic moment where people are like, Liz, I hear you, but if I lose my job, I lose everything right now. And I get it. And it feels really, really scary. And there are places that we can move things. And there are places that collectively we must. So this is a little piece of that. It's certainly not the only piece. It is not the only piece. So naming your needs is one. Becoming accountable and feedback are 2 things that can build relationships faster, build trust in any situation faster than almost anything else. And I believe we have quite a problem with both, and the research bears that out as well. So somehow I think I've given you more questions. I've maybe given you more questions than answers. What this piece does is walks you step by step through naming your needs, becoming accountable, and generative feedback. It does it in a way that is grounded in brain science and also abolitionist philosophy. You'll see I frame out why I think things are hard from a brain science standpoint and also from a systems of oppression standpoint. And all of this work is predicated on the work of many, many people who have come before me. They are deeply cited in this work. So you will see all of their names. You will be able to interact with all of their work. So in that, there are 54 videos for you to go through. Each of them is actually way shorter than this one. They're between a minute and 5 minutes long. There's a little over 2 hours worth if you watch them end to end all together. And then there is a Notion interactive guide if that is a thing that is cool for you. And there is a PDF that you can put into an iPad. You could print it if that's a thing that works in your life. But they're meant to make everything actionable so that I will explain to you the why and the how, and then you kind of work out those questions for yourselves. What this piece is meant to be is a beginning. It is not meant to say this is the only way to do these things. It is meant to ask the questions. It is meant to help you find the things that work for you, because I don't know what works for you. I know what works for me, or I'm learning what works for me, but I don't know what works for you. I sure would like to find out, though. So this is the beginning. A field guide to becoming sustainably human at work.